Hi everyone, this is my video, my first video that I'm doing by myself. Me and my sister, we do share this channel together, so we are going to do videos separately and together, but this is my first one by myself, so I hope you enjoy it. So these are my 10 favorite children's literature books that I have read when I was younger, and I decided for my first video to review them and to tell you some great recommendations if you want a good book to read to your kid, or you're looking for them to pick up one from the library or to buy one as a Christmas gift or birthday gift. This is good options. Now this doesn't even skim the surface of best literature books. There's so many good kids books out there that it's hard to pick 10 of them, but these are my first top 10. These books are really good for ages between 1 and 10. That's my age range I'm going to review these. So if you're interested in these, are really good books, and I hope that you enjoy them. So this first book is The Princess and the Kiss by Jenny Bishop, and it is a beautiful book about purity and girls who are valuable. Them and themselves are precious and jewels, and so it's about a princess who is born and given her first kiss of purity. And it's just a gorgeous book and beautiful illustrations. One of them that I have marked that I absolutely love is this. She sees her kiss for the first time that her parents have saved for her. And it's just all about the princess finding the true prince that will treasure her and who she is. And she is courted and asked for by many suitors, and some of them have fun names like Prince Peacock. And it's just a cute book. Honestly, we have given this book as presents for some of my god sisters, and it's just beautiful. So if you're looking for a good book that has purity references and how treasured and girls are, this is a book that I would definitely recommend. Youngest age is fine, from 1 to whenever, but definitely a good one. Princess and the Kiss by Jenny Bishop. I absolutely love this one. Now, you cannot have a book review without Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is one of the best kid literature books of all time, but my favorite one out of all of them is Horton Hears a Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. And it is the cutest book out. Oh, it's just so cute. It's about an elephant that hears these little voices on a speck of dust, and he believes that there's a whole world on the speck of dust, and he puts the speck on a dandelion and he protects it because he believes that there is something special, another world on this dust. So if you're going to read your kids Dr. Seuss or want to pick it up from the library, definitely read Horton Hears a Who. I know they did make a movie out of it, which was really good, and I did see that. But also the illustrations are of course with Dr. Seuss there's always illustrations, but I wanted to give a preview. The blue color is really pretty on this, and you can see the elephant and the speck. It's just a beautiful book, and I really enjoy it. So if you want to have a Dr. Seuss book to read to your kids, I definitely suggest Horton Hears a Who. It is on my second best of good books. So this one is a really fun one. I haven't encountered a lot of people who have read this or had their kids read this. It's by Lauren Numeroff, and it is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. It is adorable. I absolutely love it. It's the simplest idea, but it's so fun to read. My parents and we joke about it now because they read it to me young, but it's about a story about a mouse who wants a cookie, and it turns out if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. If you give him a glass of milk, he's going to want a straw. If he wants a straw, and it goes down this whole line of things he's going to need, and this little boy gets this mouse everything he needs after the cookie, and it's so cute. It's simple to read. It's a very simple book, but it's a really cool concept, and I really enjoyed it. And so Give a Mouse a Cookie is definitely on my top favorites. She also has other ones that are similar to this in the series that she did create, so I would suggest to read one of these at one time to your kids. So this is definitely one of my favorites if you are going to read a book or you're picking one up from the library for your kid. Very young age I would say for this because it's so simple. I would suggest between like 1 and 5 to read this book, but it's really good, and so this is definitely on my top favorites. As soon as I thought about what would be my top favorite kid books that I would want to share with you guys, I instantly thought of Amelia Bedelia, because you cannot go without your childhood without reading Amelia Bedelia. Now, when I was trying to find this book for this review, I know they have changed the illustrations so that there's different editions of this, but I prefer the older edition, probably because I was reading this one, but it is so good. So it's about a girl who's a maid who's taking her first job, and she takes everything quite literally. So her employer leaves a list of things she needs to do at the house, and one of them, for example, is to strip the sheets off the bed. Well, Amelia Bedelia thinks she actually has to strip the sheets off the bed, so she strips them and rips them apart. She takes everything quite literally and messes up her whole employer's house just by accident. So the pictures are cool. It's black and white with like a green background. Very simple. Again, this is a simple, easy read. I would suggest this between probably 1 to 7 to read it, because once you get into 8, it's probably too young for them. But it's so adorable. And so some of the things she does, let me try to find a picture. She just, like, for example, in the book, it tells you that a list that she has to dust the furniture. Well, she literally puts dust all over the furniture, and she messes up everything that she does. But it's so much fun, and you'll start cracking up laughing. I mean, even at my age, I was reviewing this, rereading it. This is so funny. So Amelia Bedelia, it is a series. There's more than one book of this, but I definitely suggest this for a good read. You'll laugh about it, and it's really fun. This is by Peggy Parrish, so it is really good, and I suggest you definitely read this book to them. Next one, which actually has become quite popular since the movie, is Paddington. So Paddington has become a movie, which I haven't seen yet, but my parents and I really want to go see it. It's a cute story. It's by Michael Bond, and it's about a bear who is left at Paddington Station in England, and the Brown family finds him, and this bear gets into all kinds of trouble with the kids in the house, and it's his adventures. And so there is more than one book of Paddington. I just picked this one up. You could pick all of these up at the library, honestly. But if you're interested as well in buying them, I'm going to link all of these books on the description on Amazon. So Paddington is definitely a good book. There is a series that you could continue on with your kids. The illustrations are quite simple in this. You have a little fun bear sitting at the station. There's only like a few illustrations. There's not a lot of drawings, but it's still a really cute book. I would suggest this again from 4 to 7. I would say, again, 8 you're venturing up into older, but if your kids don't mind something a little bit younger, this is good. We read the whole Paddington series, me and my mom did. So it's very, very cute, and I enjoyed reading it, so this is a good one. So now we're gonna get into my major top favorites. If those weren't already, these definitely are. This is The Doll People by Anne M. Martin and Laura Godwin. Definitely read your kids this. This is like so good. I would even read it now. The writing is definitely great in this. It's about a family of dolls living in a house, the Palmer residence, and there's these glass dolls that have passed down through the generations of this family, and every night they come alive at night. It's kind of similar to Toy Story in that genre and feel to it, so if your kids like Toy Story, this is a very good book. And there's a mystery element to this. One of the glass dolls has lost one of the members of their family, and they haven't found her for years. And when Annabelle, who is part of the glass family, her and her friend Tiffany Funcraft, who are the Funcraft family, which is the reverse side of this book, go on an adventure to find her aunt. And it's very like a detective feeling. You will be in suspense sometimes, so definitely if you are interested in a book that's very much older, suspense, fun ideas, very cute, The Doll People are what you're going to want definitely for your kids. I got my sister the third book of this series, so she continues on after this book, but if you're looking for a good book, this is it. Quite honestly, this is one of the best literature books that I have read for kids. The next one that I haven't actually had people read, they don't remember it or haven't had their parents read it, is Ginger Pie. So Ginger Pie is about the Pie family, and they're all kind of unusual and quirky, each one of these family members, and they decide to get a dog. But of course, since they're a very unique family, they're not just going to get any kind of dog. They get the most intelligent dog, which is Ginger. And so this book has a very good perspective and viewpoint in the writing. You actually get the perspective of the dog. And the funny thing about this is that at some point the dog gets stolen from the family, and you see the dog's perspective and the family's perspective when the dog is stolen. It's a little adventurous and it's fun. It's a very good read. There is some illustration. They're like little stick figures, but it's definitely an adorable book. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading the dog's perspective because normally you don't get that in a family. But if you're looking for a good book and your kids loves animals or dogs, Ginger Pie is a must. It is by Eleanor Estes, so definitely pick it up at your library or Amazon or your nearest bookstore. I do suggest this as one of my top favorites. So next is The Penderwicks. It's about a group of 4 sisters who go on holiday with their father. In the story, their mother has died, but they always make trouble wherever they go. It kind of reminds me of Little Women, but a modern day Little Women of that. So there's 4 sisters, which is Rosalind, Skye, Jane, and Batty. And as they go on holiday, they get into very much mischief. And Rosalind's the sensible one, and Skye's the really tomboy, kind of reckless one, a part of the family. Jane's the writer and sensible, and Batty is just a little girl. In this book, it is a series that she has written, but if you want a good book for your daughter to read, this is a good one to have her pull out. The adventures are so much fun, and you definitely get the personality of the girls when they're on their adventures on vacation. So this is a definitely good book. You fall in love with these characters very easily. You want them to get out of trouble, and you're with them all the way through, so I definitely suggest this book. This is one of my top favorites. So my sister is actually reading the 4th one of this, I believe, right now, and it's just as good as the first. This writer is definitely amazing and a good kids literature writer. So this is one of my tops, The Penderwicks. Now we're getting into my 2 most favorite books ever. This is The Little Princess, and it is, I'm gonna hold it because this really illustration is gorgeous on the front. The cover is my favorite. They just recently updated the edition. It's by Frances Hodgson Burnett. So Frances Burnett, this is the most book that had touched me when I was younger. When I read it, this little character touches your heart. It's about a girl and her father, and her father's quite wealthy, and it's set in Victorian England, and she is sent off to a boarding school, but she's so wealthy they treat her as a princess at this boarding school. They have everything she wants and needs, and then suddenly her father disappears and her fortune gets stripped away from her, and it's about her struggling with not being the princess anymore and her being herself. But the main character, Sarah, who is the little princess of this story, she's not the bratty character at all. She has the sweetest heart, and for her to struggle with the loss of her father and the loss of everything she knows in this book, it is so heart-wrenching, so touching. I would definitely recommend this book for a higher age range, probably 9 to 10. I can't speak enough about this book because it is so good. Amazingly good. You fall in love with her, you struggle with her, you want her to make it out of there. You want her to make it out okay, and for her to be safe and whole again and be the princess that she once was. And it's so, I can't tell you how much this book has touched me. It made me cry, it made me laugh. So if you want a very touching book, if you want one that has a little bit of suspense in it as well. Definitely The Little Princess is at the top of my list. This is definitely number 9. I just can't speak enough for this book at all. It's amazing. So definitely read this at some point with your kids. They'll definitely love it. Trust me, you will love it. Even you, as a parent, will love this book. Last but not least, this is my number 10. And you can't go without a book list without C.S. Lewis, in my opinion. C.S. Lewis is my favorite author, so I would suggest this at the top. I would suggest C.S. Lewis, the Chronicles of Narnia. Definitely, this is a must-read for any kid, especially at 9 or 10. I would suggest those age range for them to read. They'll get the concepts a lot easier if they're older. So, C.S. Lewis, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or The Magician's Nephew. Now, the whole Chronicles of Narnia series is great. Most people get confused on what book to read first, because technically, C.S. Lewis wrote Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first for the series. And he completed it. And he completed all the books of the series, and then he, afterwards, stepped back, thought about it, and decided to write a pre-book to Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is The Magician's Nephew. Most people skip this book, and I don't think it should be a skip at all. It explains things to you, and it explains how the White Witch got to Narnia. It explains how Narnia got formed, more about Aslan, and the Professor Diggory, who does appear in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So if you're going to get the series or start the series, I will suggest have your kids read The Magician's Nephew first before Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, if they do read Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it won't be a big deal, but they'll understand a lot more reading this, and that's what I read first. I had a series of the books, and my mom just started with the one that said number 1 in the back, and then I found as I talked with more people that they had never read this book, and they don't know how Narnia was formed, and don't know how the White Witch got there in the first place. So I definitely suggest read this first, and then read Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You'll definitely like it a lot more, and you'll fall in love with the characters, and I definitely love the Chronicles of Narnia series. And C.S. Lewis is one of the, his writing is very simple, yet imaginative, and that's what I love about him, is that he'll give you enough description of something, and then he'll let your imagination make up the rest of it. One warning I will get, in this series there is a book, which is book number 4, which is Prince Caspian, and there is one cuss word in Prince Caspian, which is the other word for the donkey, and you guys will know what that is. That is just a warning. I get a lot of questions asked for me, is there anything in this book that you would not recommend for my kids reading? Is there any language, any scenes? And none of these books that I have gone through has any language in it or has any scenes that I would say might really scare your kids. But in the 10 range, this does have some battle scenes in it. But again, C.S. Lewis is simple writing, so the battle scenes only cover maybe a page 2.5, and it's just your imagination makes up so much more. So his writing is definitely for older. It has some kind of older concepts to it, and there is one cuss word in Prince Caspian. Other than that, you should be fine. Your kids will love this. It kind of reminds me, if you haven't read this and you know Tolkien, C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were friends, and so their writing is kind of similar to each other and their worlds. But other than that, these are my top 10 favorite children's books writing. I was trying to think, there's so much more that I would like to review, so I might make a second video of this, or a third. I might make this a series. But I definitely enjoy these books. Again, I'm going to leave a link to each one of these books in Amazon that you can get. You can also find these very easily in your local library as well. But these books are a must in my opinion if you're going to read any to your kids, or even yourself. If you're not a parent and you love reading kids books, The Little Princess is going to be up your alley. C.S. Lewis Penderwicks, they're going to definitely be up your alley. So I do hope you enjoyed this video very much. As you can see, I have a love for literature and books and the craft of it. So if there's any book you want me to review or you have questions about, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Give this video some thumbs up, subscribe. I'm probably going to do more reviews like this in the future, so I hope to see you